I'm really pleased to present the leaders after the cross-country day of the Rolex Kentucky three-day event presented by Bridgestone. In first and second, Mary King, whom we all met yesterday. Working really hard to get to her 6th Olympic Games, the most for any British athlete. In third place, Clayton Fredericks from Australia. And the leading American rider in her first 4-star event, Sinead Halpin.
I'm not even thinking about tomorrow. I'm enjoying the moment. You know, I'm absolutely over the moon. They're two very different horses, one very experienced and one not at all experienced at this level. And I would have never have dreamt I would be in this position when I left England to come here. So I'm just going to enjoy the moment, and yeah, tomorrow's another day. The mare, Kings Temptress, she was pretty fluent all the way round. I was amazed. I was galloping along thinking how fantastic the ground felt, knowing how much it rained, you know, only a couple of days ago. And that's where I noticed going with my second horse, it had got heavier. I suppose it had dried, the wetter patches was starting to dry up, and it was a little bit more holding the ground. But yeah, with the mare, had a fairly sort of fault-free round. She was very good and felt lovely and was quite easy with the time. The grey horse, he sort of set off like he does best in the world. And then he came to the first water and sort of got a bit of a shock and went a bit green. Left a bit of hind legs on the log. But then he really improved. It was a fantastic course for educating a horse. You know, he improved and improved as he went round. He did get tired, and but not as tired as I thought. I had in my mind I was going to actually be pulling up, maybe, you know, if I felt he was too tired to keep going. But he kept plugging on to the end, and he will, you know, it will have done him good. Hopefully then at his next 4-star he'll be that little bit more strong. No, I think the course rode as it walks, I felt. Just really the only difference is, as I mentioned, was the grounds and the heat. From when I first went, it was quite cool early this morning, and the wetter patches were looser. But later on, you had the heat, and then the wetter ground had got heavier. So it was, I would say, it was definitely more difficult for the later horses. So I was lucky with King's Temptress to be going early, really. King's Temptress's dam was a mare that I had just as a 5-year-old, and she was a beautiful mare. She was quite outstanding. She competed at the low levels as a 5-year-old, and she won a novice event on the score of 11, which is quite unheard of. She was naturally very, very well balanced on the flat and was a good jumper. And anyway, she's a beautiful mare. But sadly, it was during the winter holidays as a 5-year-old. She had all her shoes on, and she must have been playing in the field, and she struck through her front tendon, and we were lucky to manage to save her, really. They had to stitch the tendon. She had a cast on her leg. But anyway, it did mend, and then I was left with this beautiful young mare, and you thought, well, I better get breeding then. I didn't know anything about breeding. But so really just went for fashionable sires, and Primitive Rising was quite a name at the time. He was a thoroughbred horse. I was quite keen to stick to the thoroughbreds, so chose him for her.
Was she thoroughbred?
She's virtually thoroughbred. She had a bit of French, sort of Anglo-Arab blood in her as well.
Well, it was quite difficult from the rider's perspective to know actually how the course walked, because it was underwater when I sort of first did it, and then it gradually got better, and we didn't know whether they were going to change things because of the conditions, and then it got harder. And then actually today, when I walked it first time, I actually thought it was virtually perfect going. So, but having ridden around it, watching Mary spin around and get the time, I thought, oh, it's going to be fast. It is perfect ground. But then having gone myself and watched a few others getting a little tired and weary at the end, you know, it did take its toll, especially during the hotter part of the day, I think. But I think it was a great course. You know, I always feel if you walk a course and think that it's testing, but relatively, if you ride well, you should get a good result. And then it causes problems throughout the whole of the course. I think that's an excellent course. So I think we should really hats off to Derek for that.
Sorry, I'm just really excited to be here. I walked the course and I thought it really suited my horse. He's actually very, very rideable. He doesn't really take the bridle very much, but he does always land. It's a bit concerning. He always lands a bit stalled, which out there in a lot of the combinations was good because a lot of the combinations were a bit short on the backside, like the Sunken Road and. So I was kind of excited when I walked it because I thought in there it would actually work for him, and I actually put 3 strides in between the 2 ducks that we thought was going to be short. Then this morning, I watched Mary go on her first horse, and I didn't watch anymore. And I tried to sit in my car and do that, but the announcing here is really good, unfortunately. I just thought my horse can be a little bit different than the average horse, which I guess at this level they all are. But I didn't want to get too overthinking it. So I knew coming in he's not confirmed enough at the level to put in a winning dressage test. But I wanted to be accurate. I thought he was very capable of going in, and he's got good changes, and he was accurate. I didn't want any mistakes. And then I just wanted him I wanted to go clean and do well, and hopefully that would put him up in the leader board. I was really well prepped. I was really fortunate to go to Buccolo in the fall, which took a lot of the stress away from it. I'd already ridden him in heavy ground. So I wasn't so concerned with the footing because I knew he coped with it all right over there, even though he was not as fit as he is now. And I also knew how he was going to deal with a lot of people, a lot of crowds. So I was not as worried about that. And it was a long track over there. And so I felt like he was very well prepared.
Well, my mare's genuinely careful. She likes to jump clear, but... the reason I have her is because she has a little tricky side to her, and as long as I can keep her relaxed and calm, she should go well. I don't like to have her hanging around the start for too long, and it's probably, same with the dressage. She only sort of gets 10, 15 minutes warm up before she goes in, because you sit on her too long and, she starts building up and building up. So we just try to keep her as relaxed as possible. If I can do that, Mary, watch out.
Out of the 2 horses, the grey horse, Fernhill Urco, he is a very, very good jumping horse. But he was tired today, so I don't know. I've never. It'll be my first time show jumping him the day after him, obviously having been as tired as he is. So you just never know. But he's a lovely jumper. The mare, she used to struggle quite a bit with the show jumping phase. She's hasn't got her natural technique over a fence is quite poor. She tries. She's not lazy. As in would sort of kick poles out through being lazy. It's more through lack of technique, really. But she'll try really hard, and she has jumped. Touchwood. She had one. I rode her at Burley last autumn, and she just had 1 rail at Burley. But before that, she has had 2 or 3 rails in the past. And so far this year, each event she's done, she's jumped clear. But so I don't know really. Wait and see.
My horse is probably fairly similar to Mary's. He doesn't have a normal style over a fence, but he's innately very careful. He doesn't want to hit anything. And he's normally been a very clean show jumper, but I did, when I was in Holland, like I said, he wasn't very fit, but he had 3 down in the show jumping, which was very surprising to me at the time. But he was certainly a lot less fit over there, and he isn't great jumping out of grass in the show jumping. He likes footing. He's much fitter, and I did a lot of homework this winter. So he's been good this season. I've just done one advanced and a 3-star and an intermediate, and he had one down, but I got him a bit close to something, and for his style, it's not great for me to do that. So I don't know. We'll see.